Joins us live via telephone. And Kirk, you've been stationed there throughout your time here in Maryland, getting ready for Sandy. What are you seeing this morning?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, as late as last night, there were some areas that weren't flooded. And this morning, as I start to get up and look around the area, we're seeing a lot of areas along the road that are flooded, some parking lots that are flooded out. We did last night see some neighborhoods on Kent Island that had some pretty drastic flooding in their front yards. Homeowners out there essentially on edge, worried that flooding would extend up to their homes. They've got canals in the area, some of them right behind their homes, that had basically reached their banks but hadn't quite reached those banks yet. So they are anxiously watching those canals this morning, watching the flooding. You know, a lot of it is because some of these drains, these storm drains, have just become overloaded. Some of them have leaves that are clogging the drains, and with the rain continuing and just not stopping, all their efforts to clear the drains just haven't been enough, and so they are anxiously waiting. The power, from what we've seen, is still on in most of the neighborhoods out here, so that is good, although everyone seems to be on standby. Most of the families we talked with yesterday on Kent Island said they've got their generators ready. They're essentially hunkered down, ready to go if things do get worse. You can see the street lights just blowing in the wind, and the wind continues here on Kent Island this morning. Pretty bad out there. The rain that keeps coming down, that's the concern. When will this water ever stop?
You know, Kirk, a lot of people were concerned yesterday with the bridge being closed down and really not knowing what to expect with Sandy, knowing that it was going to be bad. Have you had a chance to talk to anyone, and do they feel any better a day later, or is there still concern? Because as you just mentioned, the weather is still bad out there.
Well, you know, Megan, I mean, I think most people here feel like this isn't as bad as they were fearing it would be. That seems to be the sense from talking to a handful of people who have lived here all their lives. Most of them rode Isabel out here on Kent Island, and they say they feel like this is longer than Isabel, but not necessarily worse than Isabel. This is a long-term, 24 to 48 hours, constant rain, and they say that's the big difference. But they, at least the sense here that I'm getting, is they feel like the worst is over. But that might not be true. It just depends on how the situation goes this morning with the flooding.
All right, Kirk Yunke reporting out in Kent Island. I think you're going to find a lot of stories of neighbors helping neighbors. That's a great community. We'll check in with you in a bit.
All right, news time now is 4:40, and many of you have been keeping your eye on power outages, as we have here at ABC2, keeping you ahead of this, letting you know what's going on with those outages. We told you that BGE, they brought in secondary crews from as far away as Texas, coming in ahead of the storm. You see the number there on your screen. It might be difficult to make out. Current total outages sit at just under 214,000.